Hey everyone, today is a top knot and tea kind of video. I started my moon yesterday, and so we're just gonna have a nice, chill, sit down conversation about spiritual exploration. And this video is based on a collaboration I did with a visual artist last month. The artist's brand is GTFCREEP. 𝚑𝚎𝚎 is the amazing artist behind it. 𝚑𝚎𝚎 is a mixed media visual artist, lots of bright colors, abstract, expressive. I connected with her art immediately when I saw it. It's been a couple of months that I've been following her, and even have a piece of her artwork in my bathroom that I look at every morning. Her most iconic to me series is called the Midst of Becoming series, and the piece that I have that is like so standout for me, even though I love the whole set, is When God Spoke to Me. You know, when you see someone's art and you just get it, that's her. And she asked me to collaborate in this way that she wanted to use imagery of my work, but she wanted to pair that with my top 3 tips for spiritual exploration and self-exploration, which, yeah, these are the conversations I love to be having and expand on with people. So I'm happy to do that here with you today. And you know what? Let's set the scene. Let us be ritualistic about this. Let us get into the energy that I like to operate in. So we already have our tea going. I'm gonna light an incense and maybe even this candle, since this is one of the altars that I have in my home. Let's get it poppin'. It's a little dirty, but I have this really sweet moon face. I also have a white one, so I consider that to be my full moon one. It's out in the teepee. And I have this one that's dark, so I consider this my dark new moon one, but it's actually the full moon today, so. So back to it. The original format was for Instagram, so it is quite abbreviated. You know, it's bite-sized, my tips, but there's so much more I have to say about it. I would really like to explain my top 3 tips. The very first is look to nature. Incorporate plants into your study. Sip tea, inhale herbs, and step outside for divinely fresh insight. I tried to make that as general as possible because there are so many ways that you can connect with the earth and bring that into your spiritual practice, but really bring out the spiritual aspects of you. And so the first thing I list is incorporate plants into your study. How do you want to do that? It's really versatile, but the most simple way is to introduce tea ritual as self-care ritual. Such a beautiful blend came to me right before I started filming this, and so that's just part of being creative. I consider being creative being spiritual. When you're an artist, when you understand how creative you are, expression is godliness. It's a way to express that part of you, that soul spirit part of you. Something as simple as making tea and creating this blend and allowing that come to me and sort of come through me is spiritual. It's something that I consider to be spiritual. And even if you're not there yet with plant communication in that way, pick up a blend that someone amazing has put together, and you can start connecting with those plant spirits. You can start communicating with them. You can start listening and see the types of feelings that they bring out in you. Bring in those plant constituents. So I want to tell you about the blend that did come through. It's Tulsi, Blue Lotus, Chamomile, and Lemon Balm. It is just so yummy. So that's what I'm sipping on today. And of course in my Be Still cup, because I got the Be Still card as my Follow Your Heart card of the Oracle of the Day, which we'll get to. So something like sipping tea. Another way I wrote is to inhale herbs. So quite obviously, cannabis is one of my plant allies and one of the most common plants to inhale, but it's not the only one. There are other herbs that you can consider like mugwort, like some of these dreamy time herbs that you can inhale and just have another route, have another practice. Smoke itself is a quite spirit invoking element. So something as simple as like incense, which, you know, come from the earth, and inhaling and blowing out herbs. When I ingest cannabis, I am on a vibe. I am on a spiritual vibe. It is one of the ways that I commune with God. And then finally I say, like, step outside. Literally go outside. It carries so much beauty and so much wisdom that it's like almost impossible to not have a spiritual experience when you're outside, and feel that kind of like levity and that divinity. So the second point is track the signs. Take note of cosmic communications and when they present for a connection to celestial cycles. How many of you have oracle-led journaling practice? Me. I've made a video detailing this before. I made multiple videos about this. I actually have a whole module about stillness and the third eye study. But one of the ways that I really tilted into my magic was to start tracking my cycles and start tracking the synchronicities that I witnessed in my everyday. What I mean by that is, you know, first off, I started following the moon signs and what I was seeing according to those things. I started tracking my feelings around the moon's phases. And, you know, something as simple as seeing a blue jay. If I kept seeing blue jays, I would write that down. And even if I didn't keep seeing them, anything that just felt unique to me throughout the day, like found a penny on the ground, this person kept saying this word to me, or I saw it on a bus stop after someone had just said it. You know, tracking these coincidences in my journal and starting to just pick up on them. It's almost like, you know, my friend Lana is a lucid dreaming coach, and she has all these triggers and checks of ways to check if you're lucid. It's like kind of the same thing. It's like check on your magic and get into this practice of, you know, tracking something like your dream time and your dream space. And then for me, a practice like that, I pull out the symbols, I pull out what's going on, and you can kind of infuse those two things together. And this is exactly why I maintain my oracle journal practice. That's how I communicate with spirit, is through these angel signs and universal signs and symbols. I kind of talk about this. I'm truly obsessed with symbology. So if you need more resources on that, I'm definitely your girl. Let me know. But I say just start tracking the signs, because they mean different things to me than they might mean to you. And so it's important to start developing your own communication and your own sort of dictionary, glossary of when things present to you and what they might mean. I have a whole video about how I did this and how I got into it and how I maintained the practice, and it's within the third eye and stillness self-healing module. It's a self-study set of videos, meditation, journal prompts, and it's basically all of my insights and practices and methods of the last couple of years and how I really started to enhance that energy center in my life. So it's available to all of you. It's downloadable content, $111 investment for all the self-study material, and you can work your way through it and repeat the information as much and as often as you want. So I'll link that below. It seems to be a very purple indigo third eye type day. So the third tip, my final tip for spiritual exploration, is to drop the judgment. There's no right or wrong way to honor spirit. Stay curious about experiences that are energetically potent for you. I remember my Christian upbringing actually encouraged this. I remember being at summer camp, and the counselors had this skit about there not being a right way to pray. They were all doing these like random acts and praying at the same time. And that always stuck with me and allowed me to feel curious that, you know, praying didn't have to be at your bedside with your hands in a certain position, whatever. that it could be in movement, it could be in flow, it could be in your head, it could be out loud, it could be singing, it could be whatever. So I mean it in that sense, like drop judgment about, and let it be unique to you. Let your experience be unique to you. And like how whatever's spiritual to you is spiritual to you. I'm like number one in that. I will take anything and make it spiritual. And I think that's really liberating, but also the icky, cringy, fucked up things in life, I see those as also as spiritual. They're lessons. There's lessons within all of these experiences that we have. And I feel like when those weird ass, cringy, sort of disgusting, human-like experiences happen, we really want to just move on. And, or we might not receive the fullness of the lesson because we're judging that experience. But that's what I mean when I say drop the judgment. Like if there's this really big moment in your life,
I just want to come correct here because maybe it's the smallest, tiniest moments in life that are feeling energetically potent to you that no one else would bat an eye at, but that are deeply moving, that is included in this point.
And it actually doesn't feel that good, you can still receive from that. You can still connect with God source from that, and like have grace around it. And it's actually going to be more of like an acceleration of the process versus cutting yourself off from the fullness and the potential of an experience. So I hope that comes through clearly. It's like whatever it is, you can take lessons from it, you can turn it, you can plant it, you can water it, you can harvest from it. And that also is very creative, to be taking all these diverse experiences in life and finding ways to connect. Sure. Those are the 3 tips. And I'm curious to know if you're practicing any of them, or if there's one that really stuck out to you that you'd like to implement and explore this week. Write it in the comments below. And if you are in love with Dsharmanisha's work, GTFCREEP, which by the way is get the fuck creep, like get the fuck out. Her story is really inspiring. She took, this is interesting, it kind of ties onto this last point. In high school, she was being bullied as a freshman. People were calling her strange and weird. She would stare a lot, apparently, is how she tells the story, but she was very observant. She was taking a lot of information in. And so they like called her creepy. They called her a creep. And that became her brand. That's like what she's basing this off of. And as I mentioned in the beginning, some of these titles of her work, like In the Midst of the Becoming and When God Spoke to Me, they're very spiritual, and I think she does a great job of like conveying the mess that is the spiritual journey, the mess that is self-healing, and that duality of it being totally beautiful, totally blossoming, just vibrant, and the best thing you've ever experienced at the same time. So if you want to connect with her work or own her work, she has a variety of ways to do that. I purchased a print. She's based in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So she's got the Southern thing going on. If you're in that area, she's been doing shows and pop-ups and super dope, cool things. So follow her on Instagram so you can show up where she's at. And if you're not in Louisiana, I'm in Colorado, so you can still access her art. So that's what that's about. Go ahead and follow her. And I hope you enjoyed this video. It was fun for me to expand. It's been a while. My membership dissolved in 2022, so it's been a while since I've been sort of instructional in front of the camera. I ended up taking all of the 8 modules from my self-healing membership and creating those self-study modules. The one that I already mentioned is the stillness, but there are 7 more that are available to you. So it's kind of fun to be back here, because in those modules, what I was doing for the last couple of years was actually sitting and filming different videos every month on these sorts of topics. So we're back again. Thank you so much for taking the time today. Go ahead, settle into your spiritual journey. Take what resonated with you today and let us know what that is. And I will see you next week. Bliss be with you.